Security is a big concern ahead of tomorrow's Centenary celebrations at Fort Hare University. Some students have threatened to disrupt the celebrations. Close to 400 police have been deployed at the university. SABC reporter Aldrin Sampear is on the ground at Fort Hare and has had a look at the security arrangements for tomorrow's event.
Well, the Interministerial Committee working on this major project here at Fort Hare have concluded a meeting. They have been assessing the area concerning the violence that erupted yesterday during the students protesting here with various demands. And right now, I'm joined by the Minister of Public Works, but I'm speaking to him in his capacity as the Acting Minister of Higher Education, Tulas Nlesi. So can you just basically tell us what is the situation right now?
Well, insofar as we are concerned, in terms of the preparation for the big anniversary tomorrow, it's all systems go. Our infrastructure is ready. Although there were minor disturbances yesterday, where some students or a group of hooligans tried to attack the buildings and destroyed some of our tents. That has also been corrected now. Everything is in place. But the issues which those students were raising, 16 demands, management did meet with them yesterday, and they've put processes to address those demands that have not been addressed, but others have also been addressed. And what we've been calling for as the department is that there must be peaceful engagement with the students, between the students and the management, because this is an opportunity for this particular university and for the country to showcase this university, which has played a very, very important role in the struggle against apartheid.
And earlier on, we were speaking to some of these students, and of course they raised their dissatisfaction in terms of the meetings that they've had with the management of this institution. And some of them are saying that if those demands are not met by the end of today, the centenary celebration will not go ahead.
We're very clear. That's why the Minister of Policy is here, who's going to be able to articulate on himself, on what we are going to do. But what would still appeal to all the students is that engagement is the important thing. It's very significant, not the violence, because violence won't take us anywhere. But as government, we are here, we'll protect the property, we'll protect the students, and we'll protect this particular event. It's a very important event where we have invited national, local and international guests. Therefore, we still appeal to the students, and having met with the management, having talked to some individual students, it's clear that these issues can be resolved. And we've put the officials from Department of Higher Education to come and facilitate, because some of the issues are financially related.
And speaking of some of those guests that have been invited, don't know if you'd be able to confirm whether the president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, will be part of that delegation, and any other guests that you've invited.
What we can confirm now, 3 high-profile guests here will be the President of the Republic of South Africa, who will be giving the main address, and President Mugabe, as part of representing the alumni of this particular university as a product of this university, will be here, and also the chair of the AU, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, will also be here. So all of them have confirmed to be party to this. Over and above, the various ambassadors, representatives of the different countries, they will all be here. The local guests from the different companies, from the different institutions would also be here. Some of them who are professors in the different universities, some of them who are leading CEOs in the different institutions. All of them will be here. And of course, the local people who will be here have also been invited as part of the community, because this has been a community university.
Okay, thank you there, the Minister of Public Works, but we're speaking to him in his capacity as the Acting Minister of Higher Education. And right next to him is the Minister of Police. Are we facing a crisis, Mr.?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. We have taken stock of what transpired here last night, and we have reflected upon it and so on. And amongst other measures that we are implementing is the question of scaling up, for an example, our presence in this particular university, so that we are able to secure the event tomorrow. So presently we have about 133 members on the ground. But we'll also be bringing in later on tonight a reinforcement of about 266 members and so on. Around, yes, the university, but also generally speaking around the area, so that we are able to effectively secure and ensure that we have a successful event tomorrow. It's a very critical and important day.
Well, part of the guests that you'll have are also students from this place, and the minister early on during that press briefing indicating that about 755 students from this university and some specifically from this campus will be amongst the guests. How do you ensure that those who have made it onto the guest list won't disrupt the event when it formally starts and gets underway?
We are working with the coordinating committees and organizing committees responsible for the event, but specifically around the question of the 750 odd number or so of students that will be participating in the event, we are working with the university administration at a level of accreditation, for an example, so that we actually do know who are the effectively who the participants are at this particular event tomorrow.
And considering that we have the international guest, as well as the minister just confirming now that President Robert Mugabe will be part of this celebration, can you ensure his safety at least as well?
No, we want to ensure the safety of everybody. Our critical point of emphasis and focus is to ensure that we have a peaceful event tomorrow, and that the focal point really should be celebrating the centenary for the existence of this particular institution.
And just finally, what's your message to some of these students, those who are probably still planning on going ahead with their disruptions?
Look, we have spoken to this issue, and the message is simple. We all have a right to demonstrate, in support of our views and or opinions, as well as demands and so forth. We all have that right enshrined in our constitution and so on. But the right that no one has got is destruction of property, for an example. The right that no one has got is the infliction of pain and violence onto human life and the next person and so forth. So, and that's the issue. And the issue is, whenever people are demonstrating, yes, exercise all right, it's fine, it's okay, do that within the context and within the ambit of the law and so forth. But we will not accept a situation where violence is then meted against other human individuals, because by so doing, you're then infringing on the same constitutional rights that other human beings have got and so forth. But generally speaking, in our society, we do not have an engagement and a discussion about how we have got to conduct ourselves in the exercise and the execution of these particular rights, because it can never be correct that as and when I feel aggrieved, for an example, and there's a particular demand that I want to push through, but I feel that for me to achieve that is by punching you in the face, for an example. It cannot be correct, not at all.
And just one question, critical question that was raised during that press briefing as well, was the issue around intelligence. Why isn't intelligence picking up these contestations even before they go violent?
We are well aware of these particular concerns that have been raised, and of course I will not be able to engage and share with you some of the reflections that we're also taking on board as and when we're engaging with this issue. But the fact that we have these concerns does not necessarily suggest that we don't have intelligence operatives on the ground. It does not necessarily imply that the intelligence operatives on the ground do not pick up information and relay it for processing wherever it has got to be relayed and so forth. It doesn't mean that. The issue, though, that we are acknowledging and putting an emphasis on is that we want to consolidate our efforts around the issue of coordination as well as organization, for an example, which will include issues of planning and everything else, as well as the question of resource deployment and application, for an example, in relation to issues that would have been picked up at an intelligence level and so on. But that's a discussion that we that we are engaged with, to look at the ways and means of how we improve at that particular level.
Okay, thank you there. That's the Minister of Police, Nathi Nhleko, just basically giving us some insight in terms of the plans that they've put aside for tomorrow to ensure that the centenary celebrations do go ahead. Also an indication there from the Minister that there were 133 SABC officers that were here, but that number will be upscaled and this area will be secured tomorrow. Also confirmation there from the Acting Minister of Higher Education, indicating that the President of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, will be amongst the guests here, as well as the current AU chairperson, AU Commission chairperson, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, and President Jacob Zuma, of course, will be delivering the keynote address when the centenary gets underway. It's back to you in studio.